let's go ahead and do this one more time so I could clear out the air of my so-called relationship with Tana. It's Wario time! On day 3 of knowing Tana, she had went ahead and told me, "So now that you're my boyfriend," I was bamboozled. She tells me about how there's another person inside of her. I saw Sunny. I was scared. Not because of Sunny, but because of what I walked myself into. I felt forced upon to be in the relationship, like if God just left me alone and said, No, I refuse to help you with this stupid relationship! You should have read the red flags, but no. She activated her trap card. And look where you're at now. Low key, I was into it, because I've been known to date crazy, but I've never dated mental institution crazy. And when things got physical, she introduced me to Sunny. And then later on that night, dropped the L-bomb on me. And that's when I regretted it. It took me 2 weeks to be able to defuse the situation. But alas, I took this to the friend zone. This leads us to right now, part 2.
Turn to your scheduled programming shortly, where we are currently experiencing.
So, in part 1, I had mentioned that Tana went to the movies, specifically to watch the movie Split. Then afterwards came and told us that she had multiple personality disorder. She claimed that the movie sparked something inside her that made all these personalities come out. From what I can recall, there's about 7. But in this particular story, we're going to talk about 4 of them. And to make it easier, I decided to color code the shirts so you can know which personality is which. So the first personality we're going to talk about is Tana. She is the girl from the last video I had, which if you haven't seen, I highly recommend to watch it because it really ties into why this all led up. Next is Sunny. She's the personality that really likes Wario and is also very aggressive to everybody. Then there's Ashley. From her own words, she's emo and apparently really liked me. Finally, we have Sandy. She's just very childish. There's not much to say about her. So once a year, me and my friends like to get together to do an annual trip. This year, we had decided to go to South Padre Island to go see the lanterns. Now, granted, I'm very fond of just inviting people out of nowhere. And at the time, me and Tana were still pretty close, even though that messy breakup between her and Wario had already occurred. I ended up asking her if she wanted to go, and she instantly jumped at the idea because she wanted to see all the lanterns. And on top of it, she let me know that she had recently started dating somebody and if it was okay if they can tag along too. Like I had said previously, the more the merrier, so I told her it's totally fine with me, I don't care. But then out of nowhere, she let me know that her personalities have been out of order lately to the point that she can't control them. Now, granted, I wasn't personally very aware of how they were. I just knew of some, but it's not like it's gonna backfire on me in any way.
A few moments later.
Oh my god, where's my knife? Has anyone seen Tana? Anyway, so we went on 2 different vehicles because now since we had a bunch of people, it'd be more logical that way. And we were heading off. But before we did, I made it clear that if Tana ended up trying to basically murder us, I had a weapon and I am not afraid of her. Not that much. I mean, just a little bit because I know she can probably get away with an insanity plea. Alright, let's do a quick rundown on who went. You guys already know Wario and Tana. The rest are Emma, Alice, Jay, Maggie, and finally, way in the back, that's Maggie's boyfriend at the time. Oh yeah, they broke up, trust me, that's a story in itself. But right now, the reason why he's a piece of gum that just got stuck to someone's shoe is the sole fact he just knew how to just get under everyone's skin and just stick himself into everyone's entire life. Now, the first thing that we all decided to do was go straight into the ocean. I wasn't a big fan of this because I don't know how to swim, so I just feel like the entire time it's trying to eat me alive. But suffering in the ocean would be all worth it because I knew later on that night we were gonna make corn. But for lunch, we decided to go and buy some Pizza Hut and then go to the hotel room and eat it there. So the 2 couples decided that they wanted to get their own room because
when things got physical,
So the rest of us single people stuck together. But the rooms were relatively close to each other. So Wario, me, and Emma shared a room. Then we had Tana and Jay nearby. And then after that, Maggie and Chicle had a room. But after eating a couple slices, I ended up getting a phone call by my ex, which was really weird because I hadn't heard from her in a couple months. And I went straight outside to talk to her. So we're talking normal ex stuff like I hate you, I really miss you though, you know, stuff like that. But then I see Chicle and Maggie getting out of the room, which I didn't think much of it. I assumed they were gonna go and get the corn ready because it takes a couple hours to cook. But then I see Wario and Tana getting out of the room. I was very confused. Those two would be the last people I would assume would want to hang out with each other, especially with whatever happened between them.
I don't think you're understanding what I'm saying, Wario. I am in love with you, and don't you ever think that I'm ever going to stop. You need to understand that I am here for you. I am what you need.
Hold up. So let me make this so clear to everybody right now. Her boyfriend, which she invited, is in my room. He's literally inches away from this whole conversation, and she's openly screaming at it on the hallway like no one's business except me, because I'm hearing, because I'm a chismosa.
I just wish you knew what was going on in my head. I wish I knew what was in your head. You definitely don't want to know what's in my head.
Wait, what?
Oh, I'm sorry, Wario. I gotta go. Oh, I forgot that Jay was waiting for me, and I really need to talk to him. Oh, he's so cute, but he looks so confused. I like how he gets all of us. He's so clueless, it's annoying. Okay, bye!
After that happening, I honestly didn't know what to say, so I walked up to Wario and said the only thing I felt was appropriate. I told you she was gonna eat your face, and for sure, now. So I went back into the room, and instantly Alice started telling me
You're not who I wanted you to be, and that's why I'm breaking up with you.
that I have to walk out and in and out. So I got really annoyed because no one tells me what to do, especially her. What is she? It's not like she's gonna be my future ex. Honestly, I didn't even see a point in staying in there since she was just fighting with me, so I walked out. Plus, the pizza was gone. So I got out of the room. I wasn't planning on sticking around just to get yelled at more. So my next idea was to go help out with the corn in Chicle's room. But then, for some reason, Tana stops me. At least, I thought it was Tana.
I just can't be alone right now. Can you please come with me? I just don't understand what happened.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now, before anything, I had no idea that this personality even existed. I was more fearful of Sunny. So that's why I didn't really mind that she wanted me to go over to the room. I had no idea that there was one of her personalities that was infatuated by me. So as soon as I get into the room, she says,
How can I explain what just happened? You see, I decided that I still like Wario, and then I'm done with Jay. But, it's just, I also like you.
Tana, I have no idea what you're talking about, mostly because this is the first time you've ever told me this since I've known you. Is everything okay?
I'm so sorry. That's Ashley. Lately I haven't been able to control her, but this is exactly what I was trying to tell you. Ashley kinda has a little crush on you.
God, please don't let her eat my face. She seems really mad. Oh, not you two! I already told Wario, no! She even asked me if I would sleep with her in the room because she didn't have nobody there for her. I immediately texted my friends, all of them to come now. She was gonna do something to me, whether it was physical or sexual. I don't even know. But I told everyone to immediately come for me. Luckily, a good amount of the group ended up coming and started knocking on the door. Oh, I wonder who that is. This is such a surprise. Let me get it. On a real note, thanks to all my friends that went and saved me. You did me a solid. We all actually ended up playing Exploding Kittens. And then afterwards, I went to my room with Ellis because I wasn't done fighting with her. But to be completely honest with you, I'd like fighting with her. So there we were fighting for about an hour or two back and forth, to the point that there was a little kid in the window and he was just looking to see what was going on, and Ellis gave him a death stare. Poor kid went running to the hills, and then we continued to fight because why would a kid stop her? So then we started hearing knocking at the door, so I went to it, and the next thing I know, it's Tana, or at least I think it's Tana.
I really wanted to go see the lanterns, but Jay said they were canceled, and now I'm really sad.
Who exactly am I talking to right now?
Why are you being so silly? You know it's me, Sandy.
I didn't even get the chance to question her. Next thing I know, she's gone. Now, if you thought me and Alice were just gonna stop arguing because Tana came and was being weird, you would be very mistaken. We continued arguing until we got another knock on the door.
I'm really sorry, Liz, but I have to confess something. It wasn't Sandy you were talking to. It was me, Ashley.
Without even hesitation, Ellis pushed me aside and quickly just... I'm not gonna lie to you, that was so funny. We actually stopped fighting and we went and joined everybody else to eat corn! And obviously to go play charades with our friends, but mostly the corn. So everyone seemed to be having a good time. Well, at least it looked like everyone was. So out of nowhere, Tana jumps off the bed and just runs straight to the door. Next thing we hear is...
Oh no! Someone help!
The weird thing is, none of us really jumped at the door to see if she was okay. Honestly, at this point, everyone seemed kind of tired of it. One way or another, everyone kind of had an interaction with her at this point. So no one wanted to go see if she was legit or not. But apparently Chicle had seen from the door just closing. She went and dropped herself to the floor and then kicked the railing, then screamed. So it gave off this illusion like she accidentally fell, which didn't help her case with any of us wanting to go after her. So we all brushed it off and continued to have a good time, but then Wario stepped out to get some air or something, and then Alice came up to me and told me that her ride was here and she had to go already. So I offered to walk her to her car, and then I came back to the party, and that's when I realized that Maggie had already gone to the restroom to get showered or something. So Emma walks up to me and tells me she's gonna go to our room, then leaves. Chicle walks up to me afterwards and lets me know that, you know, he wants to physical. But at that moment, I started getting a phone call from, we'll just call her. And trust me, she gets her own video too eventually. But I go outside and I have a conversation with her for a while and let her know what type of insane things have just happened to me. Once I got off the phone, I went straight back to my room, but they took forever to open the door. And as soon as they did, they just went back to sleep. So I didn't think much of it and went to get my things ready to take a shower. So I was emptying out my pockets, and then that's when my heart just dropped. I can't find my knife. I can't find my knife. I can't find my knife! I woke up everyone in the room. That's how hysterical I got. I couldn't believe that it was missing. And the first thing that came to mind is that Tana must have found it wherever I might have dropped it. I know that's really bad to assume she got it, but after everything that's happened today, I feel like I have grounds to believe that she'd come and stab me, or anyone at this point. Anyways, Emma ends up waking up and tells me that the reason why the door was locked and they weren't opening it was the fact that Tana kept knocking at the door every so often to see if they were in there. And then Wario got up and told us when he went to go get some fresh air, he actually came across Jay, and Jay let him know that they had broken up, which I already knew at this point. But then he told him that Tana basically kicked him out of the room he paid for, which, if you guys don't remember, that room was a king size. So he paid extra for it. And she kicked him out and told him that she wants the room to herself because it's so difficult to sleep with somebody else, even though the entire time she's been trying to get me or Wario to sleep in that room. So the whole situation has gotten more messy. In the middle of him telling us all this, I get a phone call from Chicle that there's something going on in his room and that he needs me to go immediately. I'm over here thinking Tana's already got to like Maggie or something. So I'm like, okay, I need to go now. So me and Wario agreed I was going to go to their room and he was going to go to Tana's room to see what Tana has to say about all this stuff. So I write down in my handy dandy notebook what exactly I'm looking for and start heading off. But before I did, Emma had texted Jay and found out that he's planning on sleeping on the beach. This guy literally is the nicest. He gave up the room for her and then he's sleeping on a beach because he just wanted to make her happy, even after she dumps him and she's still trying to get with one of us. We all agreed to just let him sleep in our room because we had enough space to begin with. So I start heading out and I go to Chicle's room and he's already outside the door. So I ask him, what's going on? What's the emergency? I'm here thinking she's dead. No. Instead, he's like, there's something wrong with her. You need to follow me into the room. So we go into the room and I notice she's just sleeping. So I ask him, what is the situation? He looks at me and is like, just watch. And then he does some brujeria or something and she wakes up and she's acting very confused. So I'm like, hey dude, you just want to go sleep in our room? And then she starts screaming from the top of her lungs that
I'm not sleeping next to Emma. She's dead!
It is insane to me. And then I'm like, well, how long has she been doing this? He looks at me all puzzled and is like, watch this. And then he just pats her in the head. And she stops and goes back to sleep. So he starts telling me that this isn't a coincidence and the stars are aligning. Obviously, she's a psychic and that's why she's sleepwalking, because her mind is so big and mindful of all this stuff and is trying to tell us not to go back to my room. And I was like, okay, that's a stretch. Maybe, you just drive her crazy and she was having a bad dream. Who knows, right? Because of the fact that he told me not to go to my room, I decided I should go. But before I went, I looked around the parking lot where I was talking on the phone to see maybe if it fell. But it didn't. So I went straight back to the room and I was talking to Wario and he was telling me what exactly happened with Tana. But I realized within those seconds that my shirt was also missing. So now we have two missing things that belong to me and now are gone. So now I need to write it in my handy dandy notebook so I can remember to look for it. Back to what Wario was talking about. Apparently he went straight into the room and asked her straightforward if she's seen the knife. She answered with no, but then continued the conversation by asking if he would sleep in her room, which honestly, the nerve of this girl. So I ended up leaving the room. I went back to the parking lot because maybe I'm crazy and I couldn't find it. But then I got a mindful idea that maybe it's inside Chicle's room because I haven't searched for it there. So I go back to the room and then I see that Maggie's awake. And I told her exactly what's going on and she told me that right before she had went to sleep that Tana came knocking at their door too.
It's not that I didn't want to sleep next to Emma, because trust me, who does? It's just that I wasn't planning on sleeping next to the dead girl. Because Tana somehow broke into a room, saw Jay sleeping next to Emma, and stabbed them both. I just didn't want to join the body count.
I thought it was so weird that the moment I go and lose my knife, she has a dream that apparently Tana finds it and then goes and stabs one of our friends. Honestly, it's a really weird coincidence, but anyways, Chicle ended up telling me if I wanted to sleep in their room, it would be okay, and then walked off.
A clue!
A clue? Where?
A clue!
My knife! You will never know the type of relief I had as soon as I saw it. But then Chicle walks up to me and starts telling me that this was obviously not supposed to be a psychic prediction, but a warning because the knife was next to the bed. That's why she dreamt about it, yada yada yada. I ended up tuning him out and went straight to sleep. The next day I was told by my friends that Tana actually ended up coming to the room and asking for forgiveness to Jay, which I only think she did that because she wanted to ride home. He took her home because he's a nice guy, but quite frankly I would have left her at the island. For the record, to this day I don't really believe that the movie went and gave her a bunch of personalities. But if this story taught me a lesson, it's probably that you shouldn't trust everybody on Tinder, even if they seem nice at first. That, and if you go on vacation, make sure you go looking for the shirt you really wanted, because then you're gonna miss it a lot. Okay, so if you made it through the entire video, thank you, it means a lot. I'm planning on trying to make the videos better. I bought a new software, and I'm planning on doing a video once a month in the beginning of the month. So if you really liked it, please subscribe, maybe share to somebody. Overall, thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I'll see you all next month.
Meanwhile,
Okay, I decided that I want to help. I have cam. Yes. Where is everyone? I always wanted this shirt. That was pointless.